Okay. So according to this Lambert's law, we're discussing about Lambert's law. Okay. So this Lambert's law. So when a monochromatic radiation is passed through a solution, I had drawn this. Suppose this is cuvette, okay? Cuvette. Okay. So this is our incident radiation, and this is after passing. Okay. So when a monochromatic radiation is passed through a solution, the decrease in the intensity of radiation, the intensity decreases. So the decrease in the intensity of radiation with thickness, this is our thickness. This path length is known as thickness or L. Okay. This is our thickness. So through a solution, the decrease in the intensity of radiation with thickness of the solution is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. This decrease in the intensity of radiation, this is directly proportional, thickness of the solution is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. So suppose we'll discuss here, let I be the intensity of incident radiation, and X or L, we can take X or L. Here we have taken, here it is X, we can also take L also. Okay, so anything we can take. So let I be the intensity of incident radiation and X be the thickness of the solution. Then so this is the incident light and this is the transmitted light. Incident light I naught, intensity I naught, and after transmission the intensity is I, and this is our path length. This is cuvette. Okay, this is path length X, or we can write here, it may be this L, we can represent it by L, or we can represent it by X, anything. For our simplicity, anything we can take. Okay, now see, this is okay. So according to this Lambert's law, so decrease in intensity is directly proportional to the incident light. Okay, so minus, we can see the proportionality, we can remove this proportionality by this K. Okay, the proportionality constant K. So this we get in by we can integrate equation between limit. So I will become, when I is equal to I naught at X is equal to 0, when I is equal to I naught at X is equal to 0. Try to understand. So this is I naught, and after transmission it is I. Okay, so this is the X. But when it is incident, when it is I naught. Okay, when I is equal to I naught, when this point the X is 0, at that point X is 0. Okay, I is equal to I naught at X is equal to 0, and I is equal to I, this, when X is equal to L, X is equal to L, the total length. Okay, we get natural logarithm I divided by I naught is equal to, clear here, natural logarithm ln I divided by I naught is equal to minus KL. This is L. Okay, So we can change this natural logarithm. We can change this natural logarithm into this 2.303 log I by I naught is equal to minus KL. Log I by I naught, log I by I naught is equal to minus K divided by 2.303 L. This is L, where log I by I naught, we can, this log I by I naught is known as absorbance A. This absorbance A, okay? And this K divided by 2.303 is known as absorption coefficient. Absorption coefficient E, we can write it E or we can write it epsilon. Molar absorptivity coefficient, epsilon, molar absorptivity coefficient. So this absorbance is equal to epsilon L. A is equal to epsilon L. Epsilon L. Epsilon is molar absorptivity coefficient. This is molar absorptivity coefficient, absorption coefficient. Here it is written. So we can also call it molar absorptivity coefficient. Molar absorptivity coefficient. Absorptivity. Absorptivity coefficient. Okay. Molar absorptivity coefficient. And this is length. So this is our Lambert's law. Absorbance is equal to molar absorptivity coefficient product length of the cuvette. Okay. And absorbance is log I naught by I is equal to A. Absorbance A is equal to log I naught by I. Okay. Now we come to Beer's law. We come to Beer's law. Okay. So according to Beer's law, when a monochromatic radiation is passed through a solution, try to understand this. When a monochromatic radiation is passed through a solution, the decrease in the intensity of radiation with thickness of the solution is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light as well as concentration of the solution, as well as the concentration of the solution, as well as the concentration of the solution. Understood? So again, we'll discuss, let I be the intensity of incident radiation and X be the thickness of the solution and C be the concentration of the solution. C is the concentration of the solution. Then what happens? The same thing, okay? Minus di by dx, decrease in intensity is directly proportional to the incident light and the concentration. Okay, so minus di by dx will be equal to k c dot I. Okay, k is the this proportional, not proportionality constant. Okay, now the same thing we will integrating the equation between limits. When I is equal to I naught, the x is equal to 0, we know that. And when I is equal to I, the x is L. It is not 1, it is L. Actually, this is L, the length. When I is equal to I, intensity is I after passing it, after passing through the solution. The length is the x, the length. X is equal to L, meters and centimeters. Okay. So we get natural logarithm I by I naught is equal to minus K prime. Here it is prime. C is the concentration and L is the length. L is the length. So we get this. Now we can change this natural logarithm. Okay, we can change this natural logarithm. It will become here 2.303 log I naught by I is equal to KCL. Log I naught by I is equal to K divided by 2.303 CL, where log I naught by I is equal to absorbance. We already know this. Okay. And this molar extinction coefficient, this epsilon. Okay. K, epsilon is equal to K divided by 2.303 molar extinction coefficient, and this absorbance will be equal to epsilon dot C, the concentration, dot the length. Okay, this is our Beer's law. Okay, now last year 1, 2, 3 marks question was asked, what is transmittance and absorbance? So absorbance we can see here, this is absorbance. Okay, transmittance and absorbance. So this is Beer's law. So this is transmittance. Okay. So from the equation, it is seen that the absorbance, which is also called as optical density, absorbance is also known as optical density of a solution in a container of fixed path length, is directly proportional to the concentration of a solution. This we have discussed. Now, transmittance. Remember this thing: transmittance and absorbance. Transmittance and absorbance and their relationship. So transmission is given by the equation T is equal to I by I naught. So ratio of the incident, the ratio of the reflected light intensity divided by ratio of reflected light intensity to the incident light intensity. Okay, where I is the intensity of the light after it has gone through the sample, so reflected. Okay, and I naught is the initial light intensity, initial light intensity. So this transmittance is the ratio of the reflected light intensity to the incident light intensity. Okay, now absorbance we have already discussed. It is log of I naught by I, log of I naught by I. Okay, we can see here, this is path length, absorbing sample of concentration C. This we know. So what is the relation between absorbance and transmittance? Okay, absorbance is minus log T. Absorbance is minus log T, because we know that A is equal to log of I naught by I. This is absorbance. And what is transmittance? T is equal to I divided by I naught. So it will become T. Okay. Now we'll move to next segment. Principle of UV visible spectroscopy. This is very important for 5 marks. The question comes for 5 marks. Principle of UV visible spectroscopy. Are you listening, students? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So principle of UV visible spectroscopy. Okay. We know the spectrum of UV visible spectroscopy. The UV radiation region extends from 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer. This is UV region, 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer. And with the visible radiation region extends from 400 to 800 nanometer. So near, in that also we have near UV ultraviolet region and far ultraviolet region. The near ultraviolet region is from 200 to 400 nanometer, and far ultraviolet region is below 200 nanometer. Below 200 nanometer. Far ultraviolet spectroscopy is studied under vacuum conditions. It can only be studied under vacuum conditions. The most common or the common solvent used for preparing samples to be analyzed is either ethyl alcohol or hexane. So this is our least importance. Okay, but we should know. So we are going to discuss about electronic transitions. Electronic transitions. This is very important. Electronic transitions in UV visible spectrum or UV visible spectroscopy. Electronic transitions in UV visible spectroscopy. See, the possible electron transitions can be graphically shown as, we can see here, this sigma to pi, this is n, this is pi star, okay, and this is sigma star, this label sigma star. So these are the possible electronic transitions which can take place during during UV visible spectroscopy. Okay, possible electronic transitions. What are these possible electronic transitions? From sigma to sigma star, and from sigma to pi star. Sigma to this, sigma to sigma star, or sigma to this pi star. Okay, sigma to sigma star or sigma to pi star. Now from pi, okay, this from pi, this one, from this pi to pi star, this pi to sigma star, pi to sigma star, and pi to pi star, pi to sigma star, and pi to pi star. This is possible. Okay. Now next, this from non-bonding. From non-bonding to sigma star, and from non-bonding to pi star. Non-bonding to sigma star and non-bonding to pi star. Okay. And then from this level pi star, there is no transition from this level. Okay. So sigma, pi, and non-bonding. From here, these are the possibilities of electronic transitions. Okay. We'll discuss these electronic transitions one by one. We'll discuss these electronic transitions one by one. हेलो हेलो, मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ,
Yes, sir.
मैं बाद में आता हूँ. ठीक है ठीक है. Hello. Okay, did you understand this electronic transitions? We'll discuss these electronic transitions in detail one by one. Okay. So these are the possible electronic transitions: sigma to sigma star, pi to pi star, non-bonding to sigma star, non-bonding to pi star, sigma to pi star, and pi to sigma star. So these are the possible electronic transitions. You have to remember these electronic transitions for 5 marks. Now we'll discuss this sigma to sigma star transition. Sigma electrons from the orbital are excited to corresponding anti-bonding sigma star. Sigma electrons of the molecule of any in any molecule, the sigma electrons, they can be excited to corresponding anti-bonding sigma star orbitals. Okay, only this sigma orbitals, sigma electrons, they can be excited to anti-bonding sigma star orbitals. Antibonding sigma star orbitals. The energy required is very large for this transition. The energy required is very large. Okay. For example, in methane CH4 has carbon hydrogen bond only. So we have only sigma electrons bond only and can undergo sigma to sigma star transition. It can undergo sigma to sigma star transition and shows absorbance maxima at 125 nanometer. It shows absorbance maxima at 125 nanometer. Absorbance maxima at 125 nanometer. Suppose this is our coordinate. Okay. This is lambda wavelength, increasing wavelength. And this is, it shows lambda maximum at 125 nanometer. 125 nanometer. Okay. This is molar absorptivity coefficient or absorbance. This is absorbance. This coordinate, what do we call it? X, y coordinate is absorbance, and this is the x coordinate is known as the wavelength. Okay. So this methane absorbs at 125 nanometer. It absorbs at 125 nanometer. Understood? Now pi to pi star transition. Pi to pi star transition. Okay. So pi electrons in a bonding orbital is excited to, pi electron in a bonding orbital is excited to corresponding anti-bonding pi star orbital. So pi electrons can be excited to pi star orbital. Okay. What are the compounds which can show this type of transition? The compounds containing multiple bonds. We should have pi electrons. To have pi electrons, we need to have multiple bonds in the molecule. Okay. So compounds containing multiple bonds like alkene, alkynes, carbonyl, nitriles, aromatic compounds, etc. They can undergo pi to pi star transition. They can undergo pi to pi star transitions. For example, alkenes generally absorb in the region 170 to 205 nanometers. 170 to 205 nanometers. So we can draw here. This is lambda. Okay, this is absorbance. Suppose the visible spectrum is UV visible. So from 10 to 800 nanometer. So this alkenes will be from this 170 to 205. So their range will be, lambda maximum will lie from 170 to 205 nanometers. There, this region, they will show absorption in this region only. Okay, these alkenes, they generally absorb in the region 170 to 205 nanometers. Okay. Are you able to understand? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I think many students, they have just logged in and they are sleeping. Hello? Niharika,
Yes, sir.
are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. The third one, non-bonding to sigma star transition. Non-bonding to sigma star transition. Non-bonding to sigma star transition. Saturated compounds containing atoms with a lone pair of electrons. Saturated compounds containing atoms with a lone pair of electrons like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. These are heteroatoms. Molecules containing this type of heteroatoms and which are saturated. And halogens, these type of molecules, they are capable of non-bonding to sigma star transition. Non-bonding to sigma star transition. These transitions usually require less energy than sigma to sigma star transitions. We know that. These transitions usually require less energy than sigma to sigma star transitions. The number of organic functional groups with sigma non-bonding to sigma star transition peaks in UV region is small, 150 to 250 nanometer. 150 to 250 nanometer region. Here they will show 150 to 250 nanometer region. If the absorption is mostly in this region, we can say these are organic functional groups with this saturated compounds containing oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, or halogens. Okay. Now the fourth one, non-bonding to pi star transitions. Non-bonding to pi star transitions. An electron from non-bonding orbital. Electron from non-bonding orbital is promoted to anti-bonding pi star orbital. Anti-bonding pi star orbital. What are the compounds? The compounds containing double bond involving heteroatoms. There's a double bond carbonyl compounds. This nitrile. Double or triple bonds, multiple bonds containing heteroatoms like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur. These are heteroatoms. Okay. So these compounds undergo such transitions. These are the compounds which undergo these type of transitions. And non-bonding to pi star transitions require minimum energy and show absorption at longer wavelength. And show absorption at longer wavelength, around 300 nanometer. Longer wavelength, around 300 nanometer. Longer wavelength, around 300 nanometer. Around 300 nanometer. I'll take a screenshot. Okay. Robin, you can take a screenshot and send me a number of participants. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this is N2 pi star transitions. These are the compounds containing double or multiple bonds involving heteroatoms. They show this type of transitions. Okay. Now the next one, the fifth one, pi to sigma star transitions. These electronic transitions are forbidden, means seldom appear. They do not take part. These electronic transitions are forbidden transitions and are only theoretically possible. They are mostly not possible. Okay. Thus, non-bonding to pi star and pi to pi star, non-bonding to pi star and pi to pi star electronic transitions show absorption in region about 200 nanometer, which is accessible to UV visible spectrometer. The UV spectrum is of only a few broad of absorption. This is not required. Okay. So here we have discussed two, sigma to pi star transition and pi to sigma star transitions. These two transitions are forbidden transitions, we can say. Sigma to pi star transitions and pi to sigma star transitions. These electronic transitions are forbidden transitions and are only theoretically possible. Thus, non-bonding to pi star transition and pi to pi star transitions, electronic transitions show absorption in region above 200 nanometer, which is accessible to UV visible spectrophotometer. Okay. This spectrophotometer is not there in our syllabus, so we'll not discuss this spectrophotometer. Okay. You can see beam splitter. This is the sample. This is the monochromatic array. It falls on this beam. It splits. It is coming here. This is monochromator. Okay. It splits. One goes to this through the sample and through the photodetector, and the other goes to the mirror, the reference, and again it is. Then this comes to for the data processing, and it gets processed, and then the data readout. Okay, so we get the data, absorption data. Okay. Terms used in UV visible spectroscopy. Hello.
Yes, sir.